Well, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Niki. I'm coming from Russia, but these days I'm staying in Istanbul, the largest metropolitan city in Turkey. In this live stream, I'm going to share a couple of stories and basically my view and my experience of being somebody who was grown up in Russia, basically being a Russian abroad. And this kind of thing is quite unique if I compare it to what I had to experience, let's say, a year or 2 years or 3 years ago. And we all know what affected to this kind of experience. Like right now, this year in 2022, being a Russian abroad means that you are kind of have partial guilt for what is happening right now between Russia and Ukraine, and you simply have a lot of ideas like inside your head, like also a lot of thoughts inside your head on what will people think or what will people say seeing you in other countries. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about today. First, share a few personal stories of me visiting countries like Georgia and Israel back there in the summer about 1 month ago, and also a recent experience of being somebody who fled from mobilization that is happening now inside Russia to Turkey, Istanbul. Yay. Also after that I'll pay a closer attention to the chat, and I'll have my wonderful moderators pick the most interesting questions while you're chatting right now. And also after that I'll have some Q&A, questions and answers with chat directly. So yay, hello everybody. Hi. I see people basically saying hi and hello from various countries, various places around our planet. That's wonderful to have such international community. And the biggest question of today, like straight away, the biggest question of today for you: what do you personally think of Russian people? And if you personally see somebody at your place, for example, in your country, or maybe at your job place, or somewhere just around, you see a bunch of Russians, what would you feel and what would you think towards them? Would this year, like 2022, affect your opinion towards those people, or you will be exactly similar as you might, like, I don't know, as you might relate to them a year ago? For me, it's not a theoretical question. For me, it's a practical question, as far as I'm Russian traveling abroad right now. And short story is that I visited 3 countries within last couple of months, and I had mostly positive experience at communicating with people from those countries and also from foreigners who were also travelers during that time. And the experience that I received was quite good, although I received also a lot of news from other people from Russia who had like some negative stuff happening to them. Today I'm gonna share like a little personal stories that might turn in a negative way, although it didn't, and other more likely like positive stories. Yeah. So I see hi from Poland, hello from America, hello from other countries. Wonderful. I see also people saying hi to my spider. Well, technically that is not my spider on the wall, it's a rental place, an Airbnb. But if somebody doesn't really like the spider, I can cover it. I prepared something to cover that spider for you today. Yeah, so quick, I see some messages about what people say of their opinion towards Russian if they see them right now. For example, somebody writes, I personally know and live among many Russians in New York City, and I don't really view them differently. Most of the Russians I know don't agree with the government, and that is something that I experienced while traveling Georgia, Israel, and Turkey. Almost everybody I met on the way was kinda accepting me the same way as it was like years ago, with no connection to Russian government. Somehow people I met, they clearly had this difference, this kind of understanding that government is one thing and people is another thing, apparently. We have many Russians in Germany, and the public perception was very early on shifted towards Putin and his people and away from Russian citizens. That's what I am talking. Yeah. So basically, people see Russian people and Russian government as two separate things. And of course, Russian people have some, I don't know, some minor power, and they have some minor influence on Russian government, although we honestly can't do much. But that might be hard to understand for people from more from more democratic countries. Anyways, time for a few short stories. So basically, back to August. The time my girlfriend and we had a trip to Georgia. And right now, Georgia is a very, very popular destination for people escaping Russia. It's literally having a land border, and it is possible to drive a car or, I don't know, drive a motorcycle or a bicycle to Georgia. Right now, it's like occupied by a lot of Russians who are leaving the country, and you have to wait a long time. But Lisa and we went there by the beginning of August or by the end of July maybe. And we spent about 13 hours crossing the border, which was like not the best experience, but anyways. And from the very first moment, from the very first day in Georgia, I was very concerned with one thing. Georgia has really, really, really hard history, difficult history with Russia. And yet, a lot of Georgian people can speak Russian language. A lot of Georgian people have visited Russia, or their kids live in Russia and work in Russia even right now. So for me, it was like really like little mystery. How would my friends be accepted in that country, in Georgia, and will they face any problems or any kind of judgmental things only because of my nationality? It was literally the first time for me going abroad after the war was started. And that time it appeared to be a very nice experience of talking to local people. I stayed in Georgia for about 2 weeks. That was enough to meet a lot of people inside Tbilisi and also around some other places, not too far from Tbilisi, the capital, and also enough to make some local friends. So basically, in the period of these 2 weeks, the only thing that I experienced in that country was hospitality, no matter what country I was coming from. And that was a positive experience, a positive shock for me, because I was being ready to be judged because I'm coming from an aggressive country that basically invaded its neighbor, and people in Georgia were very nice and welcoming to me. There was literally only one single experience that might turn out like not very good way in Georgia. That time, my girlfriend, I, and our friend, our mutual friend, were hanging out at Tbilisi. All three of us were coming from St. Petersburg. That guy, our friend, he quit Russia like long ago, already long ago, not this week, like long ago. He didn't come back since then. And we were hanging out at a bar, and we had something like a tiny room downstairs. Nobody else was sitting there. It was not really popular bar time. I think it was like about the daytime, coming the evening. And one moment we were talking about the things, we were discussing like Tbilisi and Georgia, changing experiences. And we had, by the end of our stay there, by the end of our lunch, we had a company of people, local Georgian people, not Russians, not Ukrainians, come downstairs, sit next to us, and asked us like politely, using Russian language, if we don't mind they play some music. And of course, like, why would we mind if they play some music? That's kind of a bar, or the kind of bar-like restaurant. And we were like, all right, go play. And what they did is they started to be more aggressive, like not talking more aggressively, maybe, but definitely paying more attention to us because we were speaking Russian, and they asked us like, where are we from? And then once they heard that we are coming not from Ukraine but from St. Petersburg, Russia, they turned on the Ukrainian, how do you say, the main song of a country, like the anthem or something like that. Basically, they turned on a Ukrainian anthem, and they waited for our reaction, still without doing anything and without saying anything, just asking some, I don't know, chit-chat questions. I felt there is a certain level of passive aggression coming from those people, and after all, I just said to my friends that we better go, and we like jokingly were communicating with those people for, I don't know, for like 5 more minutes. and decided to just leave that place because clearly we didn't want any problem occurred with like local people. After all, that was the only experience when somebody was behaving in this way in Georgia. That was my maybe fourth or fifth day in that country. And afterwards, I met a bunch of local people. I met some Ukrainian people as well in Georgia. Not many, just a few. Also met a lot of Russians. And the experience itself of like being Russian in Georgia was nice. Even though that for the first couple of days, I did not have this expectation. Because, like, imagine, Georgia is literally, at least Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia, is literally covered by graffiti. Every single building. I don't know, you go watch Roman Novhakar's vlogs and notice this tiny detail. Every single building in the downtown, maybe even away from the downtown, is covered by graffiti. And most of the buildings have pro-Ukrainian and anti-Russian graffiti. And for the first time, coming to Tbilisi and seeing this stuff saying like, we support Ukraine, that's okay to see, but then fuck Russians or something like Russian go home. Seeing this, being a Russian, makes you feel like a little bit concerned, maybe even not a little bit concerned. But after all, that was just graffiti, and it was not mirroring the real hospitality of people. Like, I felt quite comfortable, like not quite, like really comfortable traveling in Georgia. That is the first story. So basically, I don't know, guys, tell me if that's interesting for you to hear such stuff, like basically a perception of a Russian person traveling abroad and sharing this, I don't know, this kind of concerns, I don't know, this kind of experience. I see the chat is being active. See somebody saying live from Istanbul. Yeah, live from Istanbul, not from St. Petersburg at the moment. Left. I see Michelle Iris says a person can love his country and disagree with his government. Agree. I highly agree. Highly agree with this statement. I love Russia as a country. I really love Russia culturally. I love how I love our cuisine and also the basically natural diversity. I traveled quite a lot of places in Russia. I am officially enjoyed and was in love traveling in Russia. But what I don't like is the actions of my government. So it's like you can love your country and you can dislike your government for sure. Yeah, so talking about the next story, I have two more short stories for you. And I see 4,000 people staying with me today. Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you. Well, all right. So the second story comes from Israel. Literally, after 2 weeks of staying in Georgia, Lisa and me decided to go to Israel because there were like really convenient flight from Georgia to Israel, Tbilisi to Tel Aviv, and that was also a totally new destination for us. If Georgia was kinda like a little bit similar to Russia, we shared common history, like people in Georgia can speak Russian, and I didn't feel like immersing into a brand new culture. It was like familiar. I haven't been to Georgia, and yet I felt familiar with people there. And going to Israel, that was a brand new experience. I was curious. Okay, we were accepted well, like really accepted in a friendly manner in Tbilisi. And what about Israel? What's gonna be there in Israel? And after all, we had 1 week being there, and I think we talked to maybe, I don't know, I personally talked to about 10, 15 Israeli people who were not just passing by and say hi to me, but a bit longer conversations. And every single time I was talking straightforwardly that we are coming from Russia, we are coming from St. Petersburg. And after all, every single conversation, every single connection with local people from Israel was quite nice, friendly, and hospitable. I think that time, that was the middle of August, I started to realize that being a Russian abroad is like might be not that intense as I expected. And honestly, before planning this international trip for the first time in 2022, I was like, maybe I don't know, maybe face some kind of like negative experience or not. And after visiting Israel, the second country after Georgia, it was like I felt all right. I'm not sure if the situation will be different if we go somewhere to Europe or if we go somewhere to America. It might be different because like these are different countries for sure. And here I think I'll really take your words for, I don't know, for real. I'm really curious what do my European and American and maybe Australian audience, people who watch me, think about it. Like what kind of opinion do you have about, I don't know, Russian travelers or Russian visitors at the moment? Yeah. Somebody says, Niki, are you not afraid of that spider on the wall? Okay, I'm not afraid of that spider on the wall, but I can do this thing to simply hide it. I was waiting, somebody asking like, please hide a spider and something like that. This is gonna be like, the spider's name is Boris. We decided at last live stream. So the Boris will be hidden until anybody in the super sticker asks to unhide Boris. Yeah, I'll be closely following the super stickers for like the words, Niki, please show us Boris or put him back. Yeah, we need Boris back. But right now, Boris is hidden. Yay, so right now, there is a totally different situation of Russians fleeing from country, because in August, when I shared this stuff about Georgia and Israel, it was not a lot of Russian people actually leaving their country. It was like just the summer, people who went for vacations were going abroad. But right now, thousands, like hundreds of thousands people from Russia are fleeing literally wherever they are able to go. And I thought, okay, what if right now we gotta face some kind of, I don't know, prejudice or anything like that, because we are basically running out of country because of some political issues, and we are running like really high quantities of people. I'm sure that people in Georgia, people in Kazakhstan, people in even here in Istanbul, in Turkey, and in a few more countries, they might be not really happy, or maybe really not happy to see so many migrants coming from Russia, simply because it also complicates life of local people. And I was having this thing in my head, basically what kind of experience I'm gonna have right now, like visiting Turkey and then going to another destination in September, after like hundreds of thousands of Russians come back. Sorry, not come back, go to their countries. And again, what I had in my head was quite far from reality, quite far from what I experienced right today and yesterday and 2 days ago in Istanbul. And I see Gisela de Groot saying, bring Boris back. Okay, let's bring Boris back. I'll pay again closely attention to anyone in the super chat saying, please hide Boris. The Boris is simply a poor creature today. Yeah, do not censor Boris. That is the only censorship, the only real censorship we are having today, and it's not controlled by you. I thought it would be fun to have you in control of Boris. Like, I'm not gonna put you in control of my own life, but in Boris' life, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, Boris, but yeah. Charlotte says that at the moment I'm not fond of Russians. I think mainly was for the war to begin with, but now where they have to send their love. Oh, sorry, it's a little bit hard for me to understand this sentence. I don't know, something with my English maybe. Anyways, so the story about Turkey. And that is the last little stories that I'm going to share today, then coming straight to questions and answers. So the last story is about Turkey, and as far as I know, there are like thousands of Russians coming over here to Turkey just this week. And even today, even every single day when I go outdoors, if I am anywhere close to the city center, I hear Russian speech a lot. Today, just 4 hours ago, I was hearing Russian speech. Basically, two guys were having a conversation about people from Russia who were breaking their legs in order to avoid going to army, avoiding being mobilized without leaving Russia. I'm having a smile on my face, but it's just ridiculous. It's like the situation is ridiculous. I don't know, maybe a little bit laughable, but also this situation is scary. Yeah, yeah. All right. So the story of Turkey is I am staying here for the fifth day, and since the very first time, since the very first day, I did not face any kind of prejudice, even though every single person, like, I don't know why, but every single person asks me where I am from. Like, literally, I'm renting this Airbnb apartment, and I rented it not saying that I'm Russian, because Airbnb did not allow me to rent it as somebody from Russia. It's like, I don't know, there are sanctions or what. But once I arrived here, of course, I say that I'm coming from Russia, and the landlord, the owner of this apartment, was quite positive about that. He said that a lot of Russian people visit Turkey, and he personally hosted 2 Ukrainian girls right before I came here, and also he hosted one Russian girl also some time ago, and I had a thought like, wow, that will be really interesting to actually meet those Ukrainian girls if they were staying here for longer. I don't know, because since the very first time I left Russia, I did not spoke to many Ukrainian people actually. I don't know, it just happened like that. I don't have many Ukrainian friends who are staying around me. I think the last time I spoke to somebody from there, it was like a few months ago, and also saw a few of them in Georgia not long ago. Let me see. Nobody asked Boris to. Nobody asked to hide Boris, right? Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Cool. Ege saying hello from Istanbul, Turkey, and sending a super thanks. Appreciate Ege for warm welcoming and also for the super thanks, as well as every single person who does these donations on YouTube. Appreciate. I have no idea why you guys doing it, but I'm really grateful for that. Yeah. All right. A few more words about my experience in Turkey. Literally today, I was vlogging the entire day. I left home at 10 a.m. I came back home around 8 p.m. The entire time I was vlogging. And when I vlog, I often talk to people around me. A little bit less in Russia, or I can say even much less in Russia, because people are not very friendly in Russia when it comes to filming them on public. It's like, I don't know, maybe some kind of personal distance or anything like that. But when I travel foreign countries, I vlog a lot of local people because I am truly passionate about talking to them and basically knowing their experience. And fortunately for me, there are a lot of people in Turkey, local people in Istanbul, who can speak quite good English. So today I spoke to like, I don't know, 15, 20 Turkish people. And also I spoke to 4 foreigners from Europe who were visiting. And every single time, I have no idea why, but every single time, they were asking where I'm from. And I said I'm coming from Russia, and I kind of understood that every single person were just curious about where people are coming from to see their city, and that's all. And every single time when I said I'm coming from Russia, St. Petersburg, I just arrived this time not long ago, and I am literally like getting out simply because of like Russian politics, they were very kind and friendly and polite. I haven't faced any kind of aggression or any kind of prejudice just because I'm being a Russian here. And that is a good news to me. And I might think that it's also very good news to hundreds, thousands of Russians who are like living in the country right now, maybe in the future as well. Niki, I'm begging, please take off this spider from the wall. Joyce, I hear you. If somebody is begging like that, I do it once. The spider is hidden, but it will remain hidden until the time anyone asks to like unhide him in the super thanks. Yeah. Dima from Russia is here. Oh, maybe that is a moment to do a tiny shout out for my buddy from Russia, a small YouTube channel but not a small man. Dima, also from St. Petersburg. We met each other in St. Petersburg, and he also left Russia. And right now, as far as I know, Dima, you staying in Kazakhstan, or are you moving to another place? Anyways, shout out to Dima from Russia in the chat. Yeah. So guys, I see there's like 5,100 people watching me here, basically sharing personal stories, and I'm just shocked, positively shocked to see this amount of people being interested to hear just a personal story. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm gonna create a poll to see how many of you actually enjoy to hear something more personal like this. Maybe some observation of my story, instead of talking something like the facts or the news or anything like that. So, do you like such personal stuff? Yes and no. Okay, I send a poll. Let's see. I see Glass Fuse Muse said, get rid of Boris in the super thanks. So yeah, Boris is away now. Also he asks, like, people in Russia living are less likely to be aggressive, or they would stay to fight to, so those, I read it again. People from Russia living are less likely to be aggressive, or they will stay to fight, so those living should be fine. Mate, it's the second question that I'm reading and don't quite understand how can I reply, because I don't quite understand what stands behind this question. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. Free Boris. I'll free Boris only with the super thanks. I cannot free it every single second and then hide him again. Okay. Very nice suggestion from Silaton. I think every request for manipulating spider should be higher than previous request. Else it will not be valid. That is a very, very good request. I've got the idea. Yay. Anyways, so let's do some questions and answers. I clearly see that 90% of you like such kind of personal stuff, more than 1,000 votes. I'm so glad that you are actually interested to hear not just raw facts from Russia or the news from Russia, but some kind of like random guy personal stories. And I see that Go Fast Now says, personal stories make your telling of facts more powerful, giving nuance. Thank you for sharing both. Boris rules. Cool, Boris rules. Thank you, guys. It's like personal stories are very subjective, but every single person's opinion is very subjective. And that's what I like about having somebody's personal opinion, because it is subjective and you can hear what do different people think and feel about one certain event, and then you can have like maybe not the entire picture but a bigger picture, not just from one angle, from various angles. Yeah. Okay, so let's come to questions. And I have my lovely moderators picking like the most interesting questions while I was talking. And also, I'm gonna pay attention to the chat, and I see Lizzie McHire says, first question, what's wrong with the Airbnb host placing Boris there? I guess it's nothing wrong with the Airbnb host. The Boris is not the only strange creature over here. If I turn my camera like in front of me, there's another kind of, I don't know, another kind of like creature staying there, but I'm not going to show you, at least in this live stream. Maybe someday it appear in my video. Okay, question from Stevel Knievel. Did you watch Putin's speech earlier? And yes, I watched it earlier. I could not stand watching the entire speech, of course. It was so long. I don't know, it's like 30-40 minutes long. It was so patriotic and it was so full of water. And what Russian independent journalists do right now, every single Putin speech is being shortened into the key points, into the major points that are being delivered in understandable manner. So that's what I read and what I watch normally. Not the entire speech, obviously, but just the key moments. Yeah, so I kind of watched it, and I first wanted to do this live stream discussing today's news, but then I realized that I do not have enough expertise to actually discuss it live, and I better do recorded video for such kind of topics. Every single time when I am discussing news or so, I do my research. At least I try to do some research and do video on that like better, rather than I can talk to somebody live like this. So yeah, I watched that. See a lot of questions. See a question from Siren M. If ever asked as a Russian, why are you here? Why are you here? Important to tell them quickly that you oppose the war, Putin, and feel empathy for the Ukrainians. This should quickly put others at ease. I don't know, actually. I don't think I fully support this opinion. Not fully support this opinion. I think I should not explain myself just for being a Russian immediately. Like if I introduce myself as somebody coming from Russia, I'm surely not going to say the first thing that I'm opposing my government and that I support Ukrainians, not because I don't do that, but because I see no sense in doing that straight away. If there will be a conversation about this situation, if there will be a conversation about politics or the reasons why I left Russia, yes, I'll share my opinion honestly, but like quickly saying that, I don't think I would ever do that. It's just very opposite from my personal values. I will not judge somebody coming from like any kind of from any country or any nationality just because they're coming from there. Like, so I also don't want to be judged just because of that. I see Lisa Manaeva appeared in in the chat. Hi, Lisa. And okay. Important question. I thought Boris is a girl, and yes, Boris is a girl, but I did not find a better name for Boris, so it's like Boris the Spider, still Boris the Spider. Whew. I also see a new member, Grandmother Annie. Thank you so much for becoming a member on my YouTube channel and joining Pelmeni tier. Thank you, appreciate. Yeah, so let's see what other questions do we have. What other questions do we have? We have a lot of questions, but it's quite hard for me to find the ones that are like, I don't know, more important and more interesting to reply. That is a nice personal question from Sean Sullivan. Niki, do you think that there will be a time in the next year that you'll be able to return home? And honestly, I do not think so. Like the time when I was leaving, the time when... Free Boris, love from India. Is it India, Akash? I'm freeing Boris just for you. Okay, so I was thinking by the time that when I was leaving Russia, when is the next day I'm gonna see my friends and I'm gonna see my mom, and when is the next time I'm gonna step in Russia? And I understood. The next time I'm gonna see my mom, for example, or gonna see my Russian friends, is not going to be the same time as I will come back Russia. I mean, if I ever see my friends and mom again, I mean, in the near future, maybe this or next year, it will be them going abroad, not me coming back to Russia. Most likely, I will not be able to be back Russia normally until this entire madness is over. And when the madness is over, like when these conflicts between Russia and Ukraine somehow like come on the, I don't know, resolves, then I might be back to Russia. I don't know, most likely just temporarily for a very short period of time. Because even before this entire madness happened, I did not want to live in Russia until the rest of my life. I just wanted to stay there temporarily. Yeah. We need Boris merch. We need Boris merch. Oh, mate, it will be so fun actually. Coming here to Istanbul, renting this apartment only for 1 week, and having Boris becoming like a good part of my life. I don't know. I am not going to steal it, guys. I am not going to steal Boris. Very important question from Rodejon. How are you doing? Now you are in Istanbul and Lisa in St. Petersburg. Greetings from Denmark. Yeah, personally, I'm doing all right. Every single day in Istanbul, I'm having a lot of things to do. I'm having a lot of things to take care of, and I'm just busying myself. And only the time when I'm like staying in my bed and feeling that I'm falling asleep, that time I have enough time to think and basically to feel something. And that time I become a little bit sad. I'm not very emotional person, but honestly, in the evenings that is the toughest part, if I can say so, because I realize that I'm here, she's there, and also all my friends are left behind. My mom's left behind, and other relatives as well, and I'm like, that is quite sad. But what makes me energized and makes me like positive is that soon we are going to see each other again. I'm sure Lisa is going to like come here to Turkey, and then we will continue exploring the world together. So yeah, I guess you gotta see her on my channel once she arrived. Before I didn't make many videos with her together, but now the situation is different. Yeah. Let me see if there are any words about Boris. What is the patronymic of Boris? Отчество. I don't think there is a patronymic for spiders. I don't think we know who is the father or mother of Boris, so it's just empty. It's just Boris. Boris the spider. Question from Silaton. What about collective guilt or quilt? Like maybe YouTube use a very wrong letter here. What about collective guilt? I think if person does feel collective proud in case his team win Olympics, then he should also feel guilt. If he does not believe in collective principles in winning contest, he is free from guilt too. That is a very good, like I didn't think about it before, honestly, but from this perspective, I do not have a collective proudness. I never was really a big fan of any kind of team. I wasn't a fan of my local hockey team back in Omsk, in the city of Omsk in Siberia, where I grew up. I wasn't a fan of Russian football team, and I don't really have this kind of proudness for something, proudness for a huge collectively, like a huge collective something. The only thing that I feel being proud of is certain individuals that are being my friends, that are being people around me. And so maybe my feeling of collective proud is so small that I also don't feel any big feeling of collective guilt. Like, I don't know if that is too selfish or is it too egocentric or whatever word you use. I don't know which word exactly I can use here in English, but I don't feel much collective guilt for actions of my government, maybe because I do not attach myself much to Russia. Yes, this thing happens. Yes, this that is caused by Russian government and people who elected Russian government, like elected. But I don't have any relation in my mind to all that stuff. The only thing that connects me to Russia is I was born there. I lived the first 18, 19 years of my life there, and I also lived two last years of my life there. But I spent most of my adult life actually abroad with no connection to my homeland. So yeah, I don't know, it might be different in your opinion, it might not resonate, maybe you don't understand why I say so, but for me it makes sense. For me it really makes sense. Can someone answer me? Is the spider supposed to be Boris Johnson? No, the spider is not supposed to be Boris Johnson, but it is Boris, apparently. And a few days ago I had a live stream about I Left Russia, and people were like paying so much attention to this spider that we decided to give it a name. And I liked Boris. It was one of the names that I saw in the live chat. Yeah. Well, guys, a few more questions, I guess. Let me see if my moderators sent me anything. how do you feel? How safe do you feel? That is a very interesting question. And I wanted to say here in St. Petersburg is so deep in my subconsciousness, or how do you pronounce it? But right now I'm in Istanbul. So here in Istanbul, I feel really safe. Today I actually connected to a few local people who got in touch with Ukrainians, with local Ukrainians, and I feel as safe as going there and have a conversation with a few Ukrainian people who were like being actively, I don't know, who were very social in Istanbul recently, and I'd love to have conversation with them. I will not be feeling safe if I do this while staying in Russia. Right now I'm feeling like more safe in doing it. Have you heard about Russian men intentionally breaking their legs, injuring themselves to avoid mobilization? I have heard a lot about that, but it's all on the rumor level. Even today in Istanbul, I had two Russian men walking in front of me, and I could hear their conversation, and they were talking right about that, as somebody was like breaking a leg to avoid going to Russian army. But I haven't seen a real example of it. What I mean is, there are a lot of like posts on Russian internet, like in a joking manner. There are a lot of people discussing it, but I haven't seen any single real example of people doing it. Like, I haven't seen somebody who really did it and shared the stories, like providing some proofs. Yeah. Question from Amir Fazad from Super Chat. It must be hard to plan ahead too far given your situation. Do you find it hard to look forward to new horizons? And how is the homesickness? That is a very, very personal question, and here again I'll share a bit of my personality. Apparently, last two live streams I shared like much more of my like real personality, another side of me rather than I did I don't know, during the last half a year or a year on my content. But anyways, so yeah, I do not have any feeling of homesickness. I left home when I was 19 or 18, I cannot remember that time well. I first left my hometown to another city in Russia, I think that was like 18, 19 years old. And then I left Russia completely, and since I was 19, 20, like 19, 20 years old, about that time, I was living in Russia and I was living in Asia for about 6 long, very cool, nice years. So having this life from like my 20 to like 25, 26 years old, living abroad in a foreign country in totally different culture, taught me some stuff, and homesickness was not one of them. Like, I did not feel any kind of homesickness staying there, like kilometers, thousands kilometers away from my home. Of course, I was like kind of a little bit missing my friends, a little bit more missing my mom, but I did not feel like really, really huge feeling of that. And I know that there are many people, like majority of people actually experience homesickness. I don't. And right now, in the situation when I am not sure when I'll be able to come back, also I don't feel much about this matter. Okay, I'm staying here. Okay, I'm not going to be back home in a matter of years. I still don't really feel any strong homesickness. Do I pronounce it correct? Homesickness. 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 That's hard for me to actually figure out the correct way to say it. Yeah. And talking about the problem with planning stuff, also that is like personal to me. I know that majority of people are different, but for me it's really nice. It's really easy to have no real plan and to be spontaneous. Like, I rely a lot on spontaneous decisions. I did it since I was 20, maybe even earlier. I quit my university. I basically dropped it off, or dropped out university, which one is correct. And then I left my home and spontaneously found a place to stay in China. Then I found a thing to do and earn money in China. And then I spontaneously decided to quit that place and start traveling, then again come back Russia. All these were spontaneous decisions. And yeah, I feel nice when I am being spontaneous at my life, but there should be a really big but. I feel nice being spontaneous, but it's nice to have some plan on what you're gonna do during the next, let's say, half a year or year for me. I don't care about a place where I'm staying. I'm not really attached to places, but I want to be knowing like what kind of thing I'll be doing next half a year, how I will be earning money, how I'll be supporting myself and so on. And right now I have a good plan, same as I had 2 years ago. My plan did not change much. I was relying on my social medias. I was relying on my videos, on my content, and I still keep doing it. Next half a year, next year, I think like next many years, I'll be making videos and I'll be trying getting like better and better at producing content and get on like on higher level and on YouTube and on other social medias. I see people saying like homesickness, do not add the secondness, like not homesicknessness. Okay, okay, that is funny. I think that spider is dead, guys. That is not a real spider, I promise. I hope so. I hope so that is not a real spider. Yeah. A question, not a question, a message from Kirsten from Super Thanks. Thank you so much, Kirsten. She says, you will not likely find negativity towards you as a Russian here in the US. I admire Russian literature, also hilariously bad propaganda too. Good or bad stories bring us together no matter where we come from. Hashtag I love Boris. So Boris still stays here. Thank you so much, Kirsten, for good words. Thank you. I'm gonna go fill a glass of water and gonna come back. And I see a few very nice, interesting personal questions in the live chat. So, half a minute. And please, don't scare Boris away. Well, I hope you did not do anything bad to Boris. Except Amy Razy, she is like, boo, Boris. Please don't. Boris is nice. I see Stream47 being member for 4 long months. So many things happened in the duration of these 4 months. Literally, like, people's life changed a lot. My life changed a lot as well. And here's Stream47 still being a member on my YouTube channel for 4 months. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you, appreciate. He says, I would say that there is no such thing as collective guilt unless there is collective power to change. If Russia were a democracy, then perhaps there would be collective guilt. But it's one-man rule. And somebody might agree with this opinion, somebody might disagree. And I think people who agree and disagree, they're coming from different cultures and different countries. Like people who blame Russians for not making a move or trying to change, make a difference, they most likely coming from more democratic countries. Anyways. So I saw some questions about like my life in China, and I think I'll have the entire live stream talking about that someday soon, not this week, maybe not next week, but someday I'll make it, talking only about that period of my life for somebody who would like to like know me personally. I don't know for what reason, but apparently. Do not eat Boris, how dare you? Of course, do not eat Boris. Question from CO. Hi Niki, do you think that Russia will change and you will go back sometime? So for the second part of the question, sometime I'm surely gonna be back Russia, but I don't think it will happen any soon. Not this year for sure, maybe not next year, maybe not even 2 years, but someday I hope for sure. And yes, Russia is gonna be changed. maybe even soon, but I don't know in which direction. Like it might be changed into something better, it might be changed into something worse, and I hope it's gonna be changed into like a more beautiful Russia than it is right now, but we are not in control on this stuff. Oh mate, today I was talking a lot to my camera, not only during this live stream, also to people since literally 10 a.m. non-stop talking to people, vlogging and talking to like locals, and I feel my throat is like being a little bit sore, but it's alright, it's alright. Steve Albert says, Canada would welcome you, Niki, and very generous donation. Thank you so much, Steve, and for these warm words and for your super thanks. I think Canada would welcome me, maybe America would welcome me, maybe, I don't know, India would welcome me. I personally think every single country would welcome me because I see it in this way. I would welcome a person from every single country to have a conversation with me. Then I expect other countries to be welcoming for me as well. I don't know, that is such a naive and silly mindset, but I actually have it. This mindset of if I'm being friendly and nice to people, then the entire world will be nice and friendly to me. I don't know how naive does it sound, but apparently I still have this mindset. Joy asks, Niki, will you get a bigger percentage of super chat dollars since you're out of Russia? No, I'm not going to have a bigger percent of super chat dollars. It's all the same for every single country. Basically, YouTube takes 30% of every super chat you are sending here, and the creators, me and every other creator on the platform, receive 70% of that, which is a really huge percentage. But I think of it this way, that if not YouTube, we will not be able to actually receive it. So all right, we accept it. Liberty Incident says, thank you for bringing us your unique perspective on Russia. I'm glad you got out, and good luck to you in your new life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your words, and also super thanks. I am glad that I got out, and I got out because of your support, not only because of like not only because of money, but also because of that. Most importantly, because you kinda gave me a reason to change my mindset on staying in Russia. Because of all your words and emails, I basically took some time to reconsider, and I understood it's time to leave. Yeah. Is Boris the spider? Boris is a spider. That is the spider, yes. Are you in Georgia now? Not, I am staying in Istanbul. Start drinking tea like Constantine? Maybe I'm gonna do that. Not right now. Very interesting super thanks from Arian. Shame on you. Not only you fled the homeland while they need you, but you are making money in the name of I actually have my moderator deleted this message, but I personally do not think that is something that should be deleted. Anyways, so somebody sent a super chat saying this stuff, that shame on me because I left Russia when the country needed me, and my opinion is different. I totally disagree with this kind of opinion. I think Russia is just a country. I was born there, but being born in one country does not make you, it's not necessarily make you attached to the person. Imagine it this way. If you grow up in a terrible family, if your father and mother beat you every single day, if they don't take care of you, if your father and mother are terrible parents, would you be in love with them or not? And in my opinion, if somebody behaves this way to their children, they should not be loved. Like really terrible parents do not deserve love of their children, at least in my opinion. Some people might think differently. And same I think about a country. I do not see any single reason to love my country. I mean, talking about the government, I only see reasons to love my country as the territory, not territory, as as something cultural, as something like talking on regular people level. So surely I disagree with this statement that shame on me. There is no shame on anyone who is living Russia at the moment. I do not connect my life with that. I do not connect my life with Russia, and I don't want to basically do any kind of support to, I don't know, to our government by staying there any longer. OMG, Niki is becoming Ukrainian. No, I'm also not becoming Ukrainian. I think I am just staying myself. I think I have a video on my channel, a talk with founder of 1420 channel. You know, guys, right? 1420, Daniil. And he said something that really, really resonates with my opinion. I asked him whether he likes Russia or not. And he answered that, how can I like just a territory that, or something that is purely about just that is that is very hard for me to remember, but the meaning was, how can I love it if it's only about taxation, only about taxes, just territory or land that taxes you, and basically you do not decide, you cannot decide much on what is happening in that territory or in that country. Same thing, like, I don't blame anyone living in Russia, but not only Russia. I don't blame anybody living in Ukraine. Like, there were a lot of people who were like fleeing from Ukraine in the very beginning of this war. I don't blame them for leaving. I don't blame anybody else who are giving up on their country. That is a totally normal thing, and you should not be proud, or you should not be attached to a country only because you were born there. It should be your it should be your decision what you value and what country you are living in, or something like that. I hope I hope I delivered my point. When they troll you, you are winning. Keep going, Niki. I don't know. I didn't feel that they actually trolling me by saying this. I feel that that person actually sent super thanks and sent this opinion, having it like as a genuine opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. I'm really, really bad at finding out what is like real opinion and what is trolling. I'm surely bad at that. Yeah. Martin Treadgold. Niki. Now that you have escaped, do you feel you can speak more freely and say what you really feel? Let's go, Niki, speak up and don't be afraid. So there is the thing. I don't feel scared to speak up. I don't feel like I'm terribly scared to say anything. I also feel that I am more free to express myself once I am out of Russia, simply because I'm out of physical reach for our police or anything like that. But it doesn't mean that having this kind of situation when I'm out of reach, I'm starting to, I don't know, shitting Russian government, anything like that. I'm just not a kind of person that says anything super aggressive or anything super bad towards anyone, even if that's a bully. Like, I am totally alright in sharing my opinion, saying that I do not support the war. I disliked it since the very first day, and the very first day, like, me and my friends and like so many people around me were against that. It's one thing, but surely I am not going to be cheating on or like saying some too loud stuff about that. Yeah, there's a fine line between expressing opinion and between like crossing these lines of just sharing opinion. Somebody somebody asked really good question. I missed it. I found another one. A plus Russian. Hello, A plus Russian. I see you every single time on my live stream, and when I watch other videos, I started to notice your comments as well under other people's videos. It's so interesting actually. A plus Russian says, you delivered your point well. But you are also missing a point. It's all good though, you're still a young man and will realize the importance of collective responsibility someday. And I think I kind of realize, or at least partially realize, the importance of collective responsibility. Yes, I just don't see that it applies to my case in Russia and to people who live in Russia. I would be actually really happy to see that we are having some collective responsibility out there and have a power to change something collectively, which I don't feel we have. And that's maybe that's one of the reasons of absence of such collective responsibility or collective mindset for me. Maybe that's why I'm such an individualist myself. Somebody asked interesting question about like, hey Niki, how you always stay so positive? How you always stay so positive? And I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong about me, or I don't know what's right about me, but I am always staying more positive than maybe I should be. I heard these words from my friends that, oh, hey Niki, how you stay so positive, and I also heard such voice from my girlfriend in a very like nice manner. She also wonders like, how can I stay so peaceful or so positive about stuff? How can I have a smile on my face talking about like even terrible events? Maybe because I have like really, I don't know, thick skin on stuff, and my emotional range is not that huge. Like I don't become like too sad about stuff or too angry or too negative, but also I don't become too happy about stuff. It's like I'm a very neutral person. The Mickey J says, I have seen a lot of your movies and I like your truth and observations. With all my love to all peaceful people, I hope you and your family will find peace soon. All we need is love and peace. That's nice words from somebody coming from Sweden. Thank you so much, Mickey. Thank you. Appreciate. All right. It's been exactly 1 hour since the moment I started this live stream, and I think that was a good productive hour. I mean, good time sharing my personal story and answering your questions. Obviously couldn't answer every single one, but all right. Guys, I'm gonna reply to a few more quick questions, like really fast, and then we're gonna say goodbye to Boris. And I guess it's gonna be time for me to take shower, brush my teeth, brush my face, and go sleep, because it's already 11 p.m. here in Istanbul. I cannot do like Konstantin does, so late time he's live streaming. Konstantin inside Russia is a hero on live streaming every single day and so late time. One important question. Niki, do you think staying silent is not much better than supporting the politics? That's something we are often told in Germany regarding our bad history. There is also a fine line of being silent and which is like better being silent or supporting the politics. And the biggest evil, there is some kind of saying that the biggest evil is happening not because somebody is like supporting that, or not only because of that, but because the majority of people are staying silent and don't say anything against that. And in my opinion, like I don't know if I could judge or not this saying, but in my opinion it sounds correct, because of a lot of people are staying silent. Terrible things might happen, but I also understand why people are staying silent, and I cannot judge them for having such kind of opinion or for having this decision of staying silent. So I don't know if that's better than I don't know if that's not much better or better than supporting the politics. Like surely it's like better not support the terrible politics and stay silent. But anyways, like it's complicated topic. It's like philosophy maybe. Somebody says, hey Niki, you're walking the fine line and you maybe someday might become a diplomat. Does it mean that I talk some BS and do not say anything that you guys want to hear, or what? Relieved to hear you're safe, man. All the best. Thank you. Thank you so much. Somebody says, Mandy says, I love turkey. We eat on Thanksgiving. Nice. Nice. All right. Somebody says, no, you're just good at being careful. Staying silent or neutral are two different things. Perhaps. Me Dao says, I support your empathetic, I don't know how to actually pronounce it, but I understand the meaning. Empathetic view of the world, Niki. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Min. Well, guys, it's time for me to go. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to say goodbye to Boris. He gotta be here for like forever, maybe. Yeah, thank you so much for coming over, for staying with me, all wonderful people. I see there are a little bit of trolls over here, but moderators were doing a great job at keeping the chat more friendly than it might be eventually. Yay. And guys, I'm gonna come back with another video maybe the day after tomorrow. Not sure if I have time for doing that tomorrow. Yeah, and that video might be pretty damn interesting. Well, guys, thank you so much for staying. Nighttime in Istanbul. Спасибо and пока. Where is the end stream button? All right, it's here. Пока.